you. I look forward to a lot more timber in the cathedral too.
Kate, please.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Thanks for this opportunity to come and speak to you all. I already have my submission, and so I just thought I'd try and speak to that and highlight a couple of elements.
Feel free.
I just felt that the plan overall didn't reflect the scale of sort of Banks Peninsula as part of the city, and that it's a huge geographical area of the city, and that it includes the Port Hills, of course, and that it has and provides enormous potential for the city in terms of delivering to the key community outcomes. I regularly engage with some of the biodiversity opportunities on the peninsula through covenant walks and planting bees and weeding bees and educational workshops. And I always really enjoy meeting new and diverse people on those workshops and walks and so forth. And everyone's so engaged in the wildlife, the birds, the vegetation, and they're learning and they're sharing, and they're having lots of discussions, and they're having a lovely day out. And so I think it enables people to kind of participate in a really great way in terms of socially and their sense of well-being and sense of belonging. So I see those opportunities as pretty important, and I also notice the increasing wildlife across the city and through the hills, and note that it with very little investment really or with a modest investment I should say from the council, that the council does get a lot in return from the community, who are led by groups like Banks Peninsula Conservation Trust and others, to add to the the benefits for the city. And I also wanted, and also within the providing sort of a prosperous city, there's an enormous amount of tourism and wonderful sustainable tourism that goes on the peninsula, by feeding this increasing biodiversity and indigenous habitat corridors coming through and connecting to the sea, and the marine resources there right through the hills and then down into the city and the wetlands around the city and the gardens and through. So I guess I really just was hoping that I'd speak more clearly than this, I'm sorry, that the council would continue to support organisations like Banks Peninsula Conservation Trust and others through their partnership fund, and that they maintain enough operational budget to support the community and others that are doing work in this area through their own works with their own staff, and that they continue to provide funding for ongoing reserves in the area, because there is a build-up of connections happening across the landscape on private land and in the small areas of dock, although there's very little land owned by dock, and the council could continue to contribute there. So that's it from me, really. Unless you had something to add. Have you got any questions?
Thank you very much. Tyrone?
Kia ora, Kate. Thank you so much for your submission. So, just in terms of the Banks Peninsula Conservation Trust and the work that it does, can you give the room a sense of the types of people and landowners who have given up their own, or like have covenanted tracts of land on the peninsula? I mean, what sort of, in your sense,
In terms of covenants, I think the thing that people sometimes undervalue is that they're actually, they've protected their land forever from for being a biodiversity asset, and so they're gift. It's a gift, really. Some are farmers, some are conservationists. There's a dairy farmer I'm thinking of, for instance, who has protected land behind Birdling's Flat that he understood at studies, but it wasn't until he started to kind of participate that he recognised that actually, there's the lizards and wildlife there that was hidden in it was even more valuable than he had ever imagined. And so instead of 25 years, he realised he had to protect this in perpetuity, And people grow as they go down the story and understand more, and it's contagious. So I do notice that when you go along to any of these things, that there's young kids, there's people older even than myself, and families, all sorts of people going along. And in terms of the covenanters, yes, everything from avid farmers through to people that are that already had conservation values.
That's great. Thank you very much. Very good submission.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Okie doke. So we've got Lewis and Lily.